What's going on, everybody? Tanner here, and today I'm bringing you guys V1 version 1 of my week 1, lots of ones involved in this build. This is a build that just kind of, my starting build. It's not an end game build or anything like that. It's just one purely to get me going through the week, get you guys a start if you're looking how to build a Night Stalker Hunter. The Hunter is my main, so if you guys are looking to build one of these, this is a good start. These items that I've acquired, these builds, these different specs, things like that, all of these will work towards a great Night Stalker. So, yeah, let's jump right into it and see what we can find. So, right off the rip, as you can see, and I've played about 4 days out of the Rise of Iron. It's been out for, I want to say, 5 now. I think I've dabbled maybe in 2, 3 hardcore days and about 2 days where I just did bounties and patrols and things like that, try to work on my progress book. But as you can see, I'm at 349 light. This is a, decent start to my week. It's not the greatest. Plenty of people on my friends list are 370s and stuff like this, but I just don't have tons of time to grind all the PvE content, and that's definitely the way to go to get your level up even higher. But nevertheless, I do have, somewhat of a build going on, somewhat of an idea of what I want. As you can see, I have, my strength is maxed out, tier 5. Discipline's tier 4, that'll be fixed later. And intellect is tier 1. Don't really care about intellect on this build. I'm not a huge fan of the Night Stalker alt. It has, great times to be useful, but it's just overall not as useful as the other ones in my opinion. So right off the start here, as you can see, I am running agility based build with the second emphasis on recovery and low armor. Really, I'm building this build with the idea that I'm not going to get shot. I'm trying to be stealthy, I'm trying to be sneaky, I'm trying to maneuver around the map as much as I can and not be shot and not have any damage put on me. And if I do get hit with something, I can hopefully, with the high agility, run away, and the high recovery, recover my health before they come around the corner and engage me again. So, first things first, we'll jump into our grenade. As per usual with Night Stalkers, everybody rocks Void Wall Grenade. This is the grenade that, creates a horizontal wall of burning void light. It seems to be the best PvE, PvP. It's great for controlling points. You can throw it like to the side of a doorway, and it will shoot down a hallway, preventing anybody from moving. Or just throw it in front of a doorway and give yourself a nice line where they either have to run through it and take damage or jump it and still take damage from you shooting them. Great way to control maps, great way to control the objective in Trials or any of the other game modes. Just overall a really good grenade. Now in my jump section, you guys know I always love to go with better control. Upgrades double jump for better directional control. I just feel like if you don't have the control, you kind of just get sent places you don't want to go. So with the control, you have the ability to jump forward and then hurry up and boost backwards. If you have triple jump, which is normally what I run, Bones of AO, but not with this current build, but maybe by the end build I will switch back to it because that seems to be my favorite so far. But what you can do with the Bones of AO is you can almost like literally jump once, jump twice forward, then jump a third time totally backwards. And this can really throw off enemies because you're going to have that maximum control plus a triple jump. But in this build, I'm just going with the double jump. It still works really well. You can still jump forward and hit it backwards once. There's so many things that you can do to make this build just top tier, and it all really emphasizes on having better control. No matter what exotic you choose to run, better control is the way to go. Next up, I'm running Quiver because this is a PvP mode. If you were running PvE, of course, you'd want to rock Black Hole, and even Black Hole is really, really good for certain moments. It's just not generally the best. I really enjoy Quiver itself. That just seems to be the best in Trials. I can possibly hit all 3 people and or hit 2 people and have the third one lodged in a doorway or something where I think the enemy will be, kind of leaving a trap for them for a few seconds. Of course, I don't have the actual true trap setup, but it's a good way to accomplish controlling a zone even if it's for a second. Next up is my melee tree. Now you may have noticed a second ago I had this one. I purely had that on for PvE. I just forgot that I still had that on. Normally what I'm going to be rocking is Envenomed. It adds a toxin that damages enemies within smoke. Now of course this is going to make your smoke grenade just do nice damage over time to people that step inside of it. That mixed with the Void Wall Grenade pretty much means if they get hit with the Wombo combo, they're essentially dead. Now the new artifact, there is one new artifact that can kind of remove that ability slightly. It removes like the damage over time stuff. But still, the average person's not going to be running that. They're going to be running the one that I have. And, well, at least in my opinion, I think they should. So that will mean that this one will still emphasize on being really, really good. Next up is Path Forgotten, training focused on toughness and speed. Of course, I want that, agility and that slight bit of armor. I could have went Path Forbidden to get, doubled up with agility and armor, but I definitely want a little bit of armor. It's not that I want to just be, wide open and exposed. I want somewhat of an ability to get away. That way I can take a few shots, run around the corner, and recover my health. Then we have Lockdown, which works in effect with our Toxin Smoke. Grenades and smoke effects last twice as long, allowing strong territory control, and that's absolutely true. You can toss these nades down now, toss your smoke down now, and they'll last almost double the length, in my opinion. Not really sure what the true number is. But that makes it so that people just really can't push into these areas easily. You're really going to be able to hold them out, keep them controlled, hold down the objective for twice as long, essentially, than you would if you didn't have this perk. Next up is Way of the Nomad, training focus on maximum battle recovery. Of course, I talked about that earlier. And finally, Keen Scout, sprint and sneak faster, gain enhanced tracker, and ability to mark targets you damage. Now, normally, with a Night Stalker, you're going to have Shade Step, right? But Shade Step's an item you can get free with a helmet. But I wouldn't normally recommend that with like my build with Bones. When I'm running Bones, I'm going to probably go with Shade Step. But since I have Graviton Forfeit as my main exotic right now, that allows me to have Keen Scout too. So now not only can I Shade Step, but I can sprint and sneak faster, gain enhanced tractor, and the ability to mark targets. Alright, let's get into the weapons. So this week we are rocking the Flynn Drum. Now this is a hand cannon, it's a 350, it's one that you buy right off the vendor, and it's, you know, pretty much a god roll. You have True Sights, which is a good sight. Sure Shot seems to be the opinion of most people is their favorite. I really enjoy Sure Shot too. However, this thing has so much target acquisition already and has such good recoil control that True Sight is also really, really good. And as you can see, one of its things is strong target acquisition. Next up, we have Spray and Play. Increases the reload speed of this weapon's mag when it's empty. Now, Mulligan's decent too, right? If you miss a shot, you have a chance to return ammo direct to the magazine, and that's not bad. However, in my opinion, if you're playing at your, ultimate best ability, you shouldn't be missing shots, at least enough to proc this. And Spray and Play, there's a lot of times, it's only got 9 rounds in the magazine, there's a lot of times you may engage 2 to 3 people in trials, or even more in Iron Banner, which is going to require you to run out of bullets. Now, most of the time you'll kill one person and reload your gun for safety. That's not always the case though, and I feel like this one happens to proc more often for me than Mulligan does. Next up, we have Rifled Barrel, increases the range and slower reload. Now, this is kind of, emphasized on the slower reload. It's slowed down while being, that half reload, that half concept of where you're like, you shoot 2-3 bullets, then you reload. That has been slowed down. However, I feel like when you have Spray and Play and you burn it down to 0 now, that kind of counteracts that palindrome itself with the Rifled Barrel and gives you back your normal reload speed. So that makes it nice. It makes it like your average reloaded hand cannon. And finally, Rangefinder. Aiming this weapon increases its effective range. So to be honest with you, so far this is my favorite weapon that I've found in Rise of Iron. I'm sure there's going to be better ones in the end game. I'm sure different metas are going to pop up and switch guns around. There's probably some exotics that are coming around the corner. There's some legendaries coming around the corner. Different things that are hidden. Maybe weapons we haven't even acquired yet, or at least not enough people have acquired to make it mainstream. So as of right now, I really think the Palindrome is the best weapon for a primary that you currently can acquire year 3 style. And now, of course, you could always rock your year 2 Ice Luna or your year 2 anything really. But for me, the Palindrome is the best year 3 gun I have currently found for the primary position. After that, we have my 1,000-yard stare. Now, this is my year 2 1,000-yard stare. I just brought it with me because I really, really like it. I've actually got 2 1,000-yard stares since I've had this one. Both of them had like dumb drops, or dumb rolls that were like, grenade, faster recharge with headshots and crap stuff like that. This one is still my favorite. It's got short gaze SLH10. It has Last Resort, Rifled Barrel, and Firefly, which is my favorite perk when it comes to sniper rifles because I've gotten so many clutch double kills with this, game-winning kills with this. For me, this is my ultimate perk because it's treated me so well, and that's where precision kills with this weapon cause the target to explode. After that, we have the Year 3 Galahorn, baby. It's a 350. Most of my stuff's going to be 350. I'm pretty much around the baseline. If you think about it, before you bought things, they were 280. Now when you buy things, they're 350. So if you essentially think back to year 2, I'm around a 280 right now. So it's very low. However, it's getting you guys just a starting track. This is basically a build that's going to allow you to just get started. So I'm rocking the Galahorn. Now this is an amazing, amazing weapon if you guys know. You have soft launch, quick draw, and tracking. That's just kind of what I went with. There's a couple of other good options, but for me, these 3 are just so nice for me. I really like to have that extra velocity. That's important to me. Get it to the target as fast as I can. Quick draw just so I can switch to the weapon, pull it up, and get it out the door. And tracking, of course. There's no real choice there, and that makes it awesome. So this puts it on par with the Truth. Now, it actually makes it kind of better than the Truth because not only does it explode when it hits the target and it tracks, but also rounds fired from this weapon split into tracking cluster missiles upon detonation. So I haven't really used this in PvP yet. However, I have used this in PvE, and this is probably the best PvE weapon ever created in Destiny. It smashes bosses, it smashes targets that you're too low to kill, it smashes public event fallen walkers and things of that nature. It's just the ultimate heavy weapon. After that, we have my Crucible shell. I opted with the Crucible shell, as I normally do have the Crucible shell. Last time I was rocking the Kingslayer, just purely because I thought it was cool that I got it, from the raid. But with this time around, I'm going to be rocking a Crucible shell again so I can get that extra glimmer when killing hunters. This one's not fully leveled yet, however, I did want pretty much just the discipline to be done in it, so I at least have my discipline done. So we can go ahead and mark that up, and that will push our discipline, you know, almost still to tier 5. It's not quite there yet, but good enough. And with the helmet, we have Graviton Forfeit. Now, this is the reason that I didn't rock Shade Step inside of the actual subclass, because I was going to get it for free through a helmet. Now, this is one of the best helmets for Night Stalkers in a sense, and I'm not a huge fan of the rolls it gets. It always has intellect on it, and I know that they know as a Night Stalker we're looking for discipline strength. However, that's fine. I'll take it. I guess even if it did have discipline, really what I should do is get it to set up to at least more discipline. I feel like I'm not really sure. I feel like the Void Wall Grenade is slightly more important than the melee, but yeah, I guess that's all subjective to what you guys believe. Anyways, it's a intellect and strength based piece. It allows you to have Shade Step for free, and you get Inverse Shadow and better already. Next up is the gauntlets. I'm rocking Raku Poltergeist 2.0. These are 347 defense. I think this is my lowest piece that I currently have attached to me. It is a discipline strength based thing, and it increases your melee attack speed. And I really like these because it has pulse rifle reloader. Now, here's the thing. I currently have a hand cannon, so these don't quite work. But they're discipline and strength, which is important to me, and they increase melee attack speed, which is really important to me. But what really separates these, and for what I'm hoping at least, is I've always been a pulse rifle guy. Pulse rifles have always been my thing. It's just, I control them better, I play with them better, everything about them just works better for me. So either what's going to happen is I'm hoping that when I get to the end game, you know, 385, then I'm going to have my old year 2 Hawksaw brought back up, and I'm going to re-break down something and get it up there so that I'll have the option between the Flynn Drum, a Hawksaw, or different things like that. Or maybe one of these pulse rifles, maybe one that vendor's selling, maybe one that drops, maybe I get a god roll down the road, who knows, but is actually a year 3 awesome pulse rifle. I really think pulse rifles are going to be the way to go this time around. If you think back on it, you know, in the beginning of the game, it was like auto rifles had their chance, and then the Midas Scout rifle little meta came around. And now we're still kind of in the hand cannon meta. And it was kind of with us last year, too, at the end of year 2 with the last word. So now we're back into the hand cannon meta because everybody's talking about the Flynn Drum. It just seems to be the way to go. So I'm hoping, the reason I'm hanging on these gauntlets is because I'm hoping that a pulse rifle with faster reload speed will eventually come out and come around. And then we'll be able to take advantage of that piece. After that, we're rocking Neurogas 1.0s. These are like the year, I want to say these were the year 2 PlayStation exclusives, and I just happen to keep getting these. The game will not stop dropping these. I'm not real sure why it keeps doing that to me. But, you know, it's whatever. I'll take it. They're discipline strength based. They increase the amount of sniper rifle ammunition you can carry, which, of course, is awesome for us. And they reduce incoming arc burn damage, which is nice because I'm really trying to, I'm not going to take advantage of this one since I'm running Night Stalker. And this will help me stay alive through a Titan Smash, maybe, a Titan Grenade, or, you know, let's go with a Stormcaller. Maybe a Stormcaller hits me with his ult for a few seconds and then it runs out, and that few seconds may be the game changer of keeping me alive rather than just allowing me to be insta-shredded. So that really works for grenades, supers, things like that nature. So I always typically go with the defensive one rather than the increase armor when using that one. I'd rather have like less damage incoming than just to have more armor overall because I'm rocking a certain subclass. After that, we're rocking the Raku Poltergeist 2.0 legs. These are 350 intellect and discipline based boots. Now, they seem to go really well with my Neurogas. It's almost like that they're kind of a combination of gear here. It seems like, I don't know, it just seems they flow really, really well. Like it was meant to be together, you know? But, you know, obviously they're not. These are the real Neurogas boots, which these are also discipline and strength, so they're also really good for me. The only reason I don't rock those is because once I put this on, the strength goes up to like 350, and that's just a waste of time. We don't need that much strength. We're building around, you know, getting these two maxed out and then getting that as much love as it possibly can get. So I opted to go with these. They're not the greatest boots by any means necessary. Do not get me wrong. They're intellect and discipline, of course. They have fusion rifle, worthless. Machine gun ammo, worthless. Those two are worthless. However, what I'm enjoying about them is the second wind. On respawn, movement and weapon and movement speeds are greatly increased. So when you get revived, you're running faster. You got a better movement speed, or vice versa. When you just spawn into a game of trials, you can actually kind of get to a cutoff section faster than the enemy if he doesn't have that perk on his boots. So of course I got to get some more armor materials and I can get that unlocked, but those are, it's fully built, ready to go. and I'll end up opting with the second wind. For my cloak, I am running the year 1, essentially, Iron Banner cloak. I mean, that's essentially like an exact copy of that thing. It might even have been called the Mantle Perun. I literally cannot remember what it was called, but that is the one, and I love that cloak. It was so cool. I loved it. So that's the one I'm rocking. It's a discipline and strength based one, and it has a focus on Crucible. So that, of course, that's important to me. I need to increase my Crucible rank. This is a new character. This is actually a whole new hunter that I've started. So she doesn't even have her Blade Dancer and her Gunslinger finished yet. In fact, you can see they're barely even touched. I do still have my other hunter, though. He still exists, so I can still put out videos for Gunslinger and Blade Dancer through him, and I will level him later once I get her fully leveled and have some extra pieces laying around. I'll take care of him. And while I'm here, you can still see I have the Cloak of Oblivion. That's the Dead Orbit Cloak. That's the one I think I'm going to opt for. I'm just going to try to re-roll it. Hopefully it's not locked to Intellect or Discipline, and I'll be able to get Discipline and Strength out of it. If not, then I'll just keep rocking this one. And finally, we have the Memory of Yolder. This is an artifact. It's a 350 Strength-based piece. And now, these are one of the new artifacts that give you an additional, like, bonus to your character. Now, these are super, super important to me. Let's see here. Solar melees have a chance. That's worthless. Melee attack on fallen enemies have a chance. Yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and pop that now. So anyways, it's a discipline strength based one. Obviously I have it set up to pure strength, and that allowed me to get yourself. It's really just a strength one, but you can like split it a little bit and choose to take discipline. I didn't. I chose all strength. That way I could actually max this out. But it's still really, really good. Yolder's Joy removes sprint cooldown penalty. This is the sprint lock that we've been dealing with for years in this game. It's a thing that just shouldn't have been there from the start, and we've been dealing with it. I think they should have fixed it across the board rather than put an artifact in the game. I don't think that that was the greatest way to go about it. However, I can't complain because it's now fixed. I can instantly sprint, I can slide and get up and start sprinting again. I can stop sprinting, aim my weapon, then instantly sprint again. There is no more of this cooldown to my sprint, and that makes it just so much more smooth and so much more enjoyable to play. And finally, down low, we're still rocking the S35 Aeon Glow, Happy Horn, Waning Star. We're rocking the Nebula Glow, which is the Night Stalker exclusive shader. I really, really like that. Just keeps me like purple and dark, and it's nice. I'm rocking the Scar of the Radgast. It's kind of a cool emblem. I just thought it was cool because it's like an Iron Banner emblem, so it's a cool one to rock. I've actually had that. I didn't even buy that off, Saladin, that he came around. Now you go to the Iron Temple, and you can buy it off him. I didn't even get it off him there. And I still have Basted's Dream, which is probably the one I'll put back on just so it's a year or two trials when trials stack up, so it's easier to find teammates. And last but not least, the exclusive one for Night Stalkers, the Sprinkler. One of my favorite new ones that I've actually acquired. So that pretty much completes the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a, just a build to get you going, just to get you started. This is version 1. This is not my end game Night Stalker build. This is just a temporary one that's going to accomplish at least some of an ability to create a character, design a character, and get them moving towards 385 with good pieces off the start. One of the hardest things I had going last time was I had such a good gunslinger and Blade Dancer build that it just didn't allow me to really emphasize on switching to a Night Stalker kit. It was too late in the game. I had to start burning like awesome exotics and things like that, and it was just really set me off. So this time I've designed her to be, discipline strength right from the start. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more. I got plenty more things coming down the road, much more builds, playthroughs, gun builds, different things like that. So yeah, this is going to be, week 1 starting kit. So if you guys want to hit the links below, I got all the links in the description below if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, find out what I'm doing, talk to me, talk shit to me, whatever you want to do, all that good stuff. Or you can hit up the Twitch channel where I'll be streaming Destiny PvP, especially Trials when it starts up. And yeah, so have a good day. Have a good day. And a base.